Ladies and gentlemen, come closer. I want to tell you something you suspected your whole life, but no one dared to say out loud. You own nothing. Not your body, not your breath, not even the thoughts passing through your mind. Strange, isn't it, how we spend our entire lives gathering, accumulating, chasing after things, money, love, titles, even identities, as if they were ours to keep. But you can't take any of it with you, can you? That uncomfortable truth is your liberation in disguise. You see, from the moment you were born, everything you've called mine has been borrowed. Your name was given to you, your body assembled itself through no choice of yours. Your memories, well, they change and fade like smoke. So the question is not, what do you own? The real question is, what are you passing through? We've mistaken ourselves for landlords of life when we are only guests. Temporary visitors in a world that spins and shifts with or without our permission. But here's the twist that makes it all worth watching. When you realize that nothing belongs to you, you begin to see the beauty in everything. That sunset, you don't need to own it to be stunned by it. That love, you don't have to possess it to feel it burn bright in your chest. That pain, it too will pass. And its impermanence is your saving grace, the kind that only comes when you let go and finally breathe, because nothing belongs to you in this life. And that is the most wonderful gift of all. We believe we own things. It begins so early, my toy, my room, my idea. As we grow, the toys become cars, the rooms become houses, and the ideas become beliefs we defend with fire. But the truth sits quietly underneath it all. Ownership is an illusion we collectively agree to believe in. You don't own the air you breathe, and yet without it, you're gone in minutes. You don't own your heartbeat, yet it continues through sleep and chaos alike. Even your body, the most intimate possession, was never truly yours. You didn't design it, you don't control its aging, and you certainly can't take it with you when you leave this world. Look at the objects around you. Clothes, phones, books, titles. They all pass through your life like actors on a stage, here for a moment, meaningful, yes, but never truly yours. We confuse possession with permanence, but permanence doesn't exist in the natural world. Trees fall, rivers shift, stars burn out. If the universe doesn't cling to its creations, why should we? This illusion of ownership is the root of much of our anxiety. We're terrified of losing what we think we have, relationships, status, youth. But how can you lose what was never truly yours to begin with? Ownership implies control. And that's the ultimate joke, because you don't even control when you wake up tomorrow. You're here, experiencing, participating, but not possessing. Once you see that, something softens. The desperation to accumulate fades. You begin to care more deeply and attach less tightly. You touch life with open hands instead of clenched fists. The illusion of ownership begins to dissolve like fog in morning light, and in its place is something simpler, truer, a fleeting moment, fully alive. Everything you have is on loan, not from a bank or a person, but from existence itself. You didn't earn your heartbeat, you didn't request the sky, and you didn't create the people who love you. They simply appeared in your life just as you appeared in theirs. Your breath, the most fundamental rhythm of your being, comes and goes without your effort. You breathe in, gift. You breathe out, release. It's the same with everything. Your thoughts arise, stay for a while, and drift off. Your emotions surge, swell, and eventually dissolve. Even your memories are not permanent. They blur, distort, disappear. Everything is passing through you like wind through trees. And yet, how tightly we cling. We say, my partner, my career, my future, as if our words can freeze the flow of life. But the more we try to hold on, the more life slips through our fingers. And still we keep grabbing. But if you really look, you'll see you're just borrowing everything. This breath, this moment, this body you wear like a coat that one day must be returned. When you start to see things this way, something changes. Gratitude becomes effortless. You're no longer entitled to anything, so everything becomes extraordinary. A meal, a conversation, a soft breeze across your face, They're not owed to you. They are gifts, unwrapped moment by moment. The beauty of a gift is in its temporariness. The flower is precious because it will wilt. The song moves you because it ends. Life is a dance, not a contract. The music is playing now, and all that's being asked of you is to dance while it lasts. No need to cling, no need to keep. Just be here for it completely, while it's yours to feel. Attachment is the great magician of suffering. It convinces you that if you hold on tightly enough, whether to a person, a belief, or a feeling, you can make something last forever. But life doesn't work that way. Everything in it moves, changes, and eventually dissolves. The more you grasp, the more it hurts when the inevitable shift comes. And it always comes. People leave, either by choice or by death. Money flows in and out like tides. Even joy, when clung to, turns sour in your hands. Yet we keep grasping out of fear of emptiness, of loneliness, of not knowing who we are without our attachments. We think attachment is love, but love doesn't need to own. You are not separate from life. You are it. This idea may sound poetic at first, but it's far more than that. It's the truth hiding beneath the story you've been told. From a young age, you were taught to see yourself as an isolated self, a mind living inside a body, surrounded by a world that's out there. But look closely. There's no clear line where you end and the rest of the universe begins. The food you eat becomes your body. The air you breathe becomes your breath. Your thoughts are shaped by language you didn't invent, culture you didn't choose, and experiences you didn't create alone. You are not a creature standing apart from nature, observing it from a distance. You are a wave in the ocean, inseparable from the water itself. Try to isolate a wave from the sea and it ceases to exist. It only has shape and motion because the whole ocean moves with it. In the same way, your existence depends on all things, the sun, the trees, the people you've never met. So when you say, my life, it's a bit of a misunderstanding. There's no my in something so vast and interconnected. Life is not your possession. It is your process. You are not doing life. Life is doing you. And when you see this clearly, a weight lifts. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to prove yourself or struggle to be someone, because who you are is already part of the unfolding dance of existence. Not the dancer, but the dance. Not the observer, but the experience itself. And in that realization, there is a strange, quiet joy, because you finally stop trying to own what you already are. Letting go is not about giving up. It's not passive, not lazy, not a denial of effort. Letting go is a radical act of trust. It is the moment you stop grasping at control and start flowing with the nature of things. Because the truth is, control is mostly imagined. You don't control what thoughts appear in your mind. You don't control who walks into your life or when they walk out. You don't control the way your body ages, the weather outside, or the unfolding of time. Still, we cling to the fantasy of control like a child gripping a broken toy, terrified of what happens when it's gone. And that clinging, that's what hurts. That's what tightens the chest, clouds the mind, and fills your life with a low, constant anxiety. But when you begin to surrender, not in defeat, but in recognition, you discover something you never expected. Freedom, not the freedom of getting everything you want, but the freedom of no longer needing to. You find peace in the flow even when it doesn't go your way. You stop chasing certainty and start dancing with uncertainty. And in that dance, you begin to trust. Trust that even when things fall apart, you are still part of the whole. Trust that life in its vast intelligence continues to carry you. You don't need to steer the river, you just need to stop trying to swim upstream. This surrender is not a weakness, it's a strength deeper than force. It's the quiet courage to say, I am enough, even without control. And in that moment of letting go, what was once terrifying becomes liberating. The burden of ownership disappears. The need to prove, protect, and possess dissolves, and in its place, a new space opens wide, quiet, and full of peace. When you realize that nothing belongs to you, not your time, not your possessions, not even the people you love. You stop waiting to start living. You begin to show up for life, not someday, not once things settle down, but now. The present moment stops being a hallway you rush through to get somewhere else. It becomes the destination. Because if nothing is yours to keep, then everything is a moment to experience, not to hoard, not to perfect, but to feel fully while it's here. That sip of tea, the way sunlight filters through the window, the sound of laughter down the street, none of it is guaranteed to repeat itself. And strangely, that's what makes it so beautiful. We spend so much of our lives trying to build something lasting, careers, reputations, legacies, as if permanence equals meaning. But the most meaningful things in life are temporary by nature. A hug, a look, a few words at the right moment. These are small infinities, not because they last forever, but because you were truly present for them. When you stop trying to own life, you become able to meet it. Really meet it without armor, without expectation, just as it is. Each moment becomes enough, not because it's perfect, but because you're finally in it. Not leaning forward into the next thing, not stuck in what already happened, just here, fully. There's a deep, quiet joy in that, an aliveness that has nothing to do with what you have and everything to do with how you see when you let go of the need to perceive. And suddenly, the ordinary becomes sacred. The now becomes everything, and everything is enough. So now, you see, nothing belongs to you in this life. Not your name, not your body, not the people you love, not even this very breath. Everything is on loan, passing through, a momentary guest in your experience. And far from being a tragedy, that truth is your liberation, because once you stop clinging to what cannot be kept, your hands are free to touch the world gently, openly, and fully. You begin to live, not in pursuit, not in fear, but in presence. You stop mistaking possession for meaning and start discovering meaning in simply being. Every smile, every sunset, every fleeting encounter becomes a miracle, not because it lasts, but because you're awake to it while it's here. This is not about giving things up. It's about giving up the illusion that you ever owned them in the first place. And in that surrender, something powerful arises, peace without condition, joy without attachment, love without fear. You stop trying to own life and you start living it.